So you're probably expecting a little bit taller, more elegantly speaking, redhead, but unfortunately he's still recuperating from last week's mini Titanic episode. If you missed last week's video, definitely check it out. It's intense, I'll tell you what. I am in Rye's classroom. If you haven't talked to him about his new technology, educational technology, definitely hit him up. It's an amazing piece of technology that he's incorporating in the classroom. He'd love to share it with you. This week's topic, we're going to talk about student choice. Before I get into that, I want to ask you to please stay tuned all the way to the end of the video. I'm going to ask you to share some of your insights so that we can make these videos a little more collaborative. Now, back to student choice. I'm going to start with a story about myself first. So we'll go to a restaurant, my wife and I will get the menu and I'll start looking for what to eat immediately. That's because it's going to take me 10 minutes to narrow down what 10 items I actually want. And so once I narrow it down to 10 items, it takes me another 5 minutes to narrow it down to maybe 7 items that I want. And so the waiter will come back for the third time, and my wife's been waiting there anxiously. And I just say, all right, just go ahead and order. I'll make a decision. And so my wife orders, and then I order, and I just pick something. As the waiter is going to put it into the to place my order, I'll track him down, and I'll change my order again. And my food will come out, and I will either be excited that I made that decision, or I'll be a little disappointed. But at the end of the day, I eat it. It's my food. I made the decision, so I eat it. But I wouldn't want it any other way. I love the options. I love being able to make these choices. Americans love to have options, right? We would be upset if options were taken away from us. If I walked into a restaurant and they said that I only had one thing to choose from, I'd probably walk out of that restaurant. Think about all the TV channels we have. If Verizon or Comcast said you're only going to have 3, 6, or 10, we're going to be upset about that. Do we need all those channels? No, we don't. But we love the option. It gives us a sense of freedom. It gives us a sense of responsibility that we can make that decision. And we appreciate that. So why don't we do that for students? Why don't we give them options? Why don't we give them choices? So I was doing some research, and what I came across was that students, when given the option to take ownership of their learning, they not only perform at a higher level, they're also more engaged, they're productive, and classroom management issues are drastically limited. So we need to start giving our students some choices. Right? I was talking to a teacher the other day, and he was talking about how he wanted his students to work on summarization. So instead of saying, you're going to read this article and you're going to summarize it, he said, choose whatever article you want. As long as it's at the level that I expect it to be, choose whatever article you want, whatever interests you. And then we're going to work on the skill of summarization. And the product that he received was at such a higher quality than anything he's ever received because the students took ownership. They knew that not only are they going to read something that interests them, but that at the end of the day, they made the decision to read or choose the reading that they chose. So the summarizing was so much better. I was talking to another teacher, and they were talking about how for many years they required their students to present in a certain way, to create a PowerPoint and then present in front of the classroom. And then they decided one year to give the students a grid with multiple options of presentations. They could choose from creating a brochure, a trifold, a website, a PowerPoint, creating a speech. They had all these options, creating a video, and the students' quality of work increased dramatically. The classroom management issues decreased because the students weren't being forced to do something that they just didn't like to do. So at the end of the day, when we give students options, when we give them choices, they feel like they're a part of the learning. They feel like they have say, just like we do as Americans, just as individuals that go out, and when I make a decision at dinner, I enjoy that decision, and I stick with that decision. Whether I like it or not, I eat it because it was my decision. The students are the same way. Let them have a decision. Let them make a decision. Let them live with that decision. And let that decision inform their future decisions. Give students choice. You don't have to do it all the time, but try it one time. and you're going to see the difference that it makes in your classroom. Now, I ask you to stay tuned all the way through the video. What I'm going to ask you to do now is at the bottom of the screen, there should be a link somewhere down in this area or a comment box. I'd love for you guys to comment or respond to the link about ways that you give students choice. How do you give your students choice? Let's see what you guys do. Let's start sharing. Let's start spreading ideas, right? Because we learn from each other. So thank you and have a great week. If you have any questions, just ask any of the instructional leads and we're here to help you out.